So I made this drawing of Akali back in 2020 summer, and it's almost summer again, so I thought I would do a new version. I think it's a decent upgrade, so let's see how it happened. And I put together some tips that I think beginners could use to improve their work, just more or less instantly. And I think it's a good clickbait. You know, I'll put like derps for beginners. So yeah, let's get into it. So before I get into the process of the new one, I want to highlight some of the problems with this old one because there's quite a few of them. Yeah, this pose is really weird, especially this leg. I think it needs to, well, at least this needs to curve a lot more if I wanted this to look more natural. But just the pose itself is kind of broken. The way she's twisting her hips is super weird. This arm is really weird. Just kind of, the gesture's kind of going this way, like this, but I think if I were to do it today, I would do it more like, I'd kind of bend it the other way, like this is the shoulder, and then I would go kind of more like this. Let's see if I can, like this kind of bend. Fuck, that looks just as bad. Anyway, yeah, this arm looks like shit, and the horizon is just kind of dead in the middle. I don't like that. It's kind of boring. This eye is too far to the side. I usually make the eyes kind of further apart than one eye's apart, but even for me, this eye I think needs to come in a little bit this way. The tree looks pretty stupid, and then all three of them look the same. It's like they're spaced kind of evenly. It's really repetitive. Looks pretty bad. This umbrella looks like shit. The clouds look like shit. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, the whole thing is just kind of really empty. There's nothing in there. It's just like she's in the middle of nowhere, and then it's just three trees. So I'll fix that. Yeah, now we get into the new one. Before we roll the clip, just want to show you guys that I drew a thumbnail for this, and yeah, that's the first tip. I think if you're gonna do something outside your comfort zone, it's usually a good idea to do a bit of a thumbnail. You want to draw small, like I was drawing it about this small when I was making this, and yeah, if I was like professional, I would be like doing a lot more of these, but I really hate doing this, so fuck that shit. I just take this one and I go straight into it. But it helps if you draw like a really tiny version of it, like you know, anything you draw, you just make like a super small one. It makes everything a lot easier, and then you can go in and make it better. Yeah, that's the first tip. Thumbnails, do them if you're doing something tricky. Alright, we're actually rolling the clip now, and yeah, you're gonna see me like flip the view a lot. Like I'll flip it horizontally because what happens when you flip is that it's gonna show you how dog shit your drawing actually looks, and how you're going to go ahead and make it less dog shit, because if you draw the whole thing without flipping and then you flip at the end, it's not gonna look good. It's gonna look like some kind of disfigured Ronald McDonald's. It's not gonna be pretty, so you should flip. But yeah, I also heard you can get used to both views if you flip too much, which is like the scariest thing ever, because it's like I suddenly have no ways to spot my mistakes anymore. It's probably true too, because a lot of my old stuff looked like Ronald McDonald's. Yeah, that's just a quick side note. Just the next tip I got on the list is studying. So you saw me draw the two hands there on the top of the screen. It's not on screen right now, but I drew those two hands from pictures, right? Because I didn't know how to draw the actual hand in the drawing, so I had to find some references. But the thing with references, right, is it's more or less impossible for you to find the perfect reference in the perfect view, in perfect angle, everything. So there's going to be some interpretation to do, and if you don't like study it first and understand it first, what you end up doing is like you'll just be staring at it and not know how to translate it into your own drawing. So one thing I find that helps is if you just copy it once off the photograph directly. It tends to help because I drew those two hands and I kind of figured out that hand a little bit better. I'm sure it's not perfect, but it's better than what I could do without doing that. So you should do that. And here's just a few studies I did for this image specifically, and yeah, that's how you know I'm serious, because I'm actually studying now. I usually hate doing those, but I think when you do personal work like this, it's a good time to get more adventurous and do your studies in these ones, because when you start working, right, and you're being paid for it, you if you work and you have all these things you have no idea how to do, and now you have to figure them out on the spot, it's like really stressful because you're working, right? So people are paying you for it, and because since you're being paid for it, failing is suddenly not an option anymore, which is like, failing is important, but you can't fail when someone is hiring you. So yeah, be more adventurous when you're doing your own thing. I mean, I recommend it. That's what I recommend. I used to be like too scared of it because I don't want to fail, and then now it's like, shit, I'm taking all these jobs, and then I have all these things that I don't know how to do, and I have to do them on the spot. It's kind of miserable. Yeah, little tip for you. So what I'm doing now, you see, is I'm filling in the entire character with like just the skin color, even for places that are not her skin. What I'm actually doing is I'm just setting up a mask, clipping mask, and what a clipping mask does is it kind of locks the pixels, I guess. Not really. It makes it so that everything that is clipped to that mask layer cannot be like, you can't paint outside of the silhouette that I've set up, right? And it makes the process a lot easier in the long run, because it's kind of boring to fill in the base color at first, but it saves time in the long run, so I think you should do it. And it usually makes your result look better, just when you follow a more disciplined approach. No, some people can just go wild with things, but those are the really experienced people, and you know, I'm not there yet, so yeah, I'm a scrub, so I'm just doing what needs to be done. Just do it the structured and disciplined way, I guess. Maybe one day I can do it like more just randomly, like the actual pros do. They just go wild with it. I like that. I like to do that. Like, I would like to be able to do that one day. Yeah, let's see. The way you do it in Photoshop is, I think you just right click on a layer. If you haven't noticed, I'm not using Photoshop right now, so if you use Krita like me, you can just it's just Control Shift G. On Photoshop, I think you just right click on the layer, and I'm sure you can find it. So yeah, that's the clipping mask. And yeah, the next on the list is lighting and color. So if you're an actual beginner, I think that's the one you've been staring at, just waiting for it. So here we go. So I want to pause the recording first, though. So let's do that, and because I want to do a quick little demo. Okay, so let's look at a bit of lighting fundamentals here. So when you have light, you're gonna have light. I right? Light, and then you also have shadow. And within the light, you have highlights, and then you also have halftones. Too lazy to write. And then within the shadow, you have reflected light. Reflected light, okay. And you have ambient occlusion. So what are those terms, right? So in light, you got light, and then shadow. It's like shadow, and then highlight is the wait, no. So these things that are like underneath the categories are like things, different values you use to further model this stuff within this area, within their respective areas, right? So the highlight is like the reflection of the actual light source, and then the halftone is like the it's like the planes that are just barely facing the light, so they're the darkest part of the light, but they're still brighter than shadows, so they have to be brighter than the shadow because yeah, you can think of it like the dumbest kid at Harvard is still smarter than you. That's how you can look at it. Reflected light is just light bouncing off of the environment, and then it lights up the shadow a little bit. Without it, the shadow would just be like, it would just be black, right? And ambient occlusion is like the areas that are I'm so tired. Ambient occlusion is like the areas that are like it's the space between two objects, or two objects are like touching, and then it's really dark in between them, or some kind of a hole, right? So if you consider the human body, then areas of ambient occlusion would be like, say, where the arm meets the torso, or like the nostrils, or the ears, or the assholes. Those are all really dark because the light has a hard time getting into it, so they do get pretty close to black, but usually you don't want to go straight to black. So yeah, now I'm going to paint a ball, so just to demonstrate these values. Okay, bear with me while I paint this just this ball here. Yeah, if you go to school, it's like one of the first things they're gonna have you do. They must have made me draw like 100 of these. I hated it so much, but it is good. It's good practice, I think, because you do use like all the values. Because you know, you got the light coming in from this classic 45-degree angle that they always make you do, and then you have the reflected light, and then the core shadow, the ambient light, ambient occlusion, highlight, blah 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 blah, and then I'll point those out when I'm done with this ball, so you can see it for yourself, like what those values look like when you actually use them. I don't know why I put the highlight there, it's like way off. I think I fixed it at the end. Alright, let's take a look at this ball. I think it should be done by now. Alright, so we got our ball here, and you know, it looks fairly third-dimensional, I think. These are all the values I mentioned from earlier, and yeah, you can take a look for yourself, see what they look like. I'm gonna fade away the text now so you can see it a little bit better. And you might be like, well, this is just a bowl, it's boring and it's got no color and shit, but yeah, that's true actually. I don't like this ball either. It gives me PTSD from school, so let's swap it out for something a little more interesting. So our Akali here, she only has base colors, no lighting, and she's just floating in the middle of nowhere, so that's not good. So let's give her a background. And the background is actually going to inform some of our lighting decisions because as you can see, the sky is blue, right? What light does is it just brings the object closer to the color of the light itself. So the sky is blue, so the light coming in from the sky, it's going to tint everything blue. The sunlight is kind of yellowish, and then the sand is kind of orangish, yellowish. So the bounce light coming off of the sand is going to have that same color off the sand.
So let's do some lighting. First we want to switch on the sunlight, and then we have the ambient light from the sky coming down from above, and then the reflected light coming up from the sand, and just a few more touches, and we have the lighting. It's pretty much the same lighting I was using in the drawing. So this is not very polished, but it is a good start, and all the essential lighting and color information are in place for you to bring it to a better finish. So you can think of it like setting up some clay for you to sculpt into now. You can model the form with it. Uh, yeah, I'm really not good at explaining this stuff. I think, as far as YouTube goes, I think Marco Bucci has the best videos about this stuff. So yeah, you can close this video now and go check out his channel instead. Because my job is basically done. I'm not here to teach, I'm just here to show you the good stuff. And we're back to the recording again. So, yeah, I was like, I said I drew this again because summer's like right around the corner, and then someone was like, "What are you talking about? Spring has barely begun." Yeah, you see, like that person doesn't understand that summer to me is like Monday to you, right? You hate it so fucking much that you just spent the entire Sunday dreading about it. Cause summer is trash. Like there's nothing good about it. I don't understand how anyone could like summer unless you're like, maybe you're a student or something, or maybe you're like some creepy dude. You just can't wait to see the girls wear less clothes in the street. Why else would you like summer? There's nothing to like about it. Like it's so hot, and then there's so many bugs, and you can't sleep at night. It's trash. Like it's such a dog shit fucking season. It's more dog shit than dog shit. It's like a dog ate their own shit and then shit it out again. If you like summer, it's just, man, I don't even know what to say to you. I think you have problems. Like you have to be some kind of masochist or something. You probably like getting whipped. And yeah, this entire thing, all the footages combined together, I think was about 7 hours total, and that's not including all the studies I've done on the side, as well as the adjustments I've done off screen. So I would say this whole thing, this entire drawing, with time it took for it, it's about 8 to 9 hours ish. And I'm mentioning that because I had a couple people message me on Instagram, and they were like asking me how long it took me to draw a certain image. And when I told them that I took a long time, they were like, they gave the same response. They always give the same response when you tell them you take a long time, which is it makes them feel better, because I suppose the underlying implication of it would be that they weren't feeling so good about themselves because they probably felt like they were slow as fuck. And yeah, that's kind of what happens when a lot of people like to put stuff in their captions and shit. Just like 1 hour study, 30-minute sketch, 5-minute doodle, and yeah, it tends to make you feel slow as fuck probably, and I think it's fine to be slow. I'm pretty slow, I think. Um, and it's fine to be slow because like all that matters is the result. You don't need to be too fast. Yeah, for the people that really like to flex their speed, I just wanna, I don't know what to say. It's just, it might be fun to get some praise. Like people go like, "Oh my god, you're so good! It only took me 1 hour to do that." I mean, you can keep doing that if you want, but I just think it's really not that cool. If you feel slow, just don't worry about it, man. It's just take the time you need, do the best work you can. I think that's the way to go. Speaking of Instagram, though, this post it didn't do quite as well as I hoped. I thought it would do better, but it didn't. But yeah, that's fine, I guess. Dealing with the mismatch in expectation versus reality. That's what life's all about. That's what my life's all about, because reality never answers my expectations. It's fine. I wonder why it gets to me so much, actually, because it's not like I started learning because I wanted to farm likes on Instagram. I started learning because I thought being able to draw would help me find a girlfriend. Now I realize I should have learned guitar instead. But it's too late. I'm too deep into this endless spiral of bullshit. It's too late to get out. Guess I'll have to draw for the rest of my life now. And yeah, I'm out of stuff to say, but there's still a couple minutes left on the clip. I'm just gonna play some hype music and I'll come back when the clip is done. Yay, we did it! We made it to the end. And yeah, this is the final. It's some screenshots of the process that might be fun to look at. And this is the final image we got. Yeah, I think this is where I'm supposed to beg people to subscribe, but no, not gonna do that because my ego is bigger than a donkey stick. So screw you.